Good morning everyone, my name is Sheila Lobien and welcome back to Realty Talks, Lobien Realty Group's video podcast where we talk about everything real estate. This podcast episode today, we have a very special guest for you. He is a globally recognized architect and urban planner who owns the architectural firm Palafox Associates, the first Filipino architectural firm included in the top 500 architectural firms in the world of the London-based World Architecture magazine in 1999. And he ranked 89th in the list of the world's largest practices and 8th in leisure projects. He is also well recognized for his vision of making the Philippines a first world country through smart and sustainable urban development. Let's learn more about him and his advocacies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Architect Felino Jun Palafox Jr. today.
Greetings from Palafox Associates and Palafox Architecture Group. I'm Felino Jun Palafox Jr. I'm Principal Architect, Urban Planner, Environmental Planner, and Founder of Palafox Associates and Palafox Architecture Group. And we've done more than 1,800 projects in 40 countries, with speaking engagement in 22 countries. And to help in my journey through architecture and planning, I have visited and observed more than 1,000 cities in 73 countries and 7 territories. And Palafox Associates is the first Filipino firm that made it to the top 500, top 300, top 200, and top 100 architects in the world, cited by the World Architecture magazine, headquartered in London. And we were also the first firm ISO certified by TÜV, TÜV of Germany, for architecture, urban planning, environmental planning, master planning, landscape architecture, interior design, and one of the first in engineering and project management. So our company is a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary firm in one organization for the built environment. And I took up 8 courses in Harvard, starting with Advanced Management Program for Real Estate Development, Architecture and Sustainability, Master Planning Sustainability, shopping centers, civic architecture, art of leadership, design leadership, and real estate cycles. I was the first Filipino who took up advanced management real estate development in Harvard, and also the only Asian in my class. And there's so much to share, and like I just came back from a global peace conference in Mongolia, and Mongolia Peace Conference of Northeast Asia. I was the only Southeast Asian invited to speak in that Global Peace Conference, and the only architect urban planning speaker. So there's so much to be done, and one of our advocacies now is the Philippines 2050, a first world economy, a first world country.
Right. Architect, we researched about you a bit, when you were a little boy starting and all that. And what we found is that you really liked building something when you were still a kid. That's what we have here. But instead of building sandcastles now, you made mga small cities, townships, and ganyan. Parang as early as, I don't know how old you were at this time, but you already have that plans of making something, cities. So, the question is, what inspired you and fueled your passion to be an architect? First and foremost, an architect, as you mentioned, and of course, a very famous urban planner today.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I remember that in the beach areas in Ilocos. Other children would build sandcastles, and I would build together with my siblings and friends townships, cities with mountains, plains, rivers, bridges, and buildings. But in my childhood, my first vocation was actually to be a missionary priest,
Oh.
because my parents home is across the church also. We serve mass every day. But then when I spent 4 years of my life in the seminary, I made a discernment. It's more like go to architecture. That's probably why the passion in architecture came from my first vocation to be a missionary priest. That's probably why I'm more passionate about architecture, urban planning, environmental planning, real estate development, urban development. Yeah,
So that's the beginning, sir.
that's the beginning.
Someone inspired you to be an architect, or it's really from the
Yeah.
beginning you like
In the
doing
seminary,
things?
third year, I was a librarian, seminarian librarian. And our mentors were Germans, Americans, and other Europeans. I inquired about the big cathedrals, the architecture, and so on. So we had mentors from Germany, from Boston, and so on, and described to me great architecture. So in fourth year, I made a discernment whether continue with becoming a Divine Word missionary priest, 16 years to take up to be a missionary priest of the Divine Word, SVD. Then, even my mother told me I had an inkling more drawing, design, and analytical of the environment, and visual communications, and so on. So that's probably inspired me from first vocation priesthood. Then my choices were doctor like my father, my sister, my uncles, or engineer, or architecture. And I saw the development of Makati also. Yeah.
You saw the history.
I know the history and how Makati got developed from a swampland to what it is today, not knowing that many years after I was invited and named hired by the late Enrique Sobel to be chief architect urban planner of Ayala.
Okay. Is that the start, sir, of the Palafox and Associate? Because in 1989, you founded the company.
Yeah. First, I was working because I had a scholarship at the University of Philippines, a United Nations scholarship, and University Scholar and Department of Public Works Transportation Community Scholar. So I had to work at least 2 years for government projects. Fortunately, I was assigning projects that were World Bank funded, UNDP funded, and unfortunately, our recommendations for Metro Manila Transport Land Use Development Planning Project, of which I was a team leader. In the early 80s, they stopped implementing them, and during those projects, I was invited and named hired to help bring Dubai, the desert town of Dubai, into a first world global city in 15 years. So I relocated my family in Dubai, invitations of Dubai. Sultan Khalifa of Dubai came here to look me up and invited me to work in Dubai. So I had to complete my contracts with Philippine government projects, World Bank funded UNDP project. And my career in international practice was really Dubai.
Started in Dubai.
As the invited and named hired to be a senior planner at age 27.
Very
Working
young.
with many experts all over the world.
So, sir, when and how did you start the company after all the international experience that you've had?
Yeah. In Dubai, Henry C. Sr. visited me in our home.
Oh, okay.
Then, Executive Ayala, they told then the Chairman President of Ayala Corporation, Enrique Sobel, and both Henry C. and Ayala, they told me, should we decide to come home, there are jobs and projects waiting for me. And after that, we've done 7 SM malls, and in Ayala, continuing the plans for Ayala Labang, Ayala Heights, Cebu Business Park, Techno Park, and the redevelopment plans for Makati Commercial and Greenbelt, and even the plans of Palafox Town Center and Madrigal Business Park. and several malls, retail centers of Ayala. I was part of the redevelopment master plan.
So many iconic projects, Architect.
Yeah.
Too many to mention actually. So now, let's go to today since we already have, you just celebrated the 35th anniversary of Palafox Jr and Associates. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And July 1st, we celebrated our 35th
35th year.
anniversary as Palafox Associates. My last project was Vice President for Technical Planning and Architect, Urban Planner, Transportation Planner of the Ayala Group, Ayala Corporation and Ayala Land. I'm also Director of the Construction Company of Ayala, Makati Development Corporation. July 1st, 1989, if I was advised it was the worst time to start a new company. Because 1989 was the coup attempts against President Cory, fall of the Berlin Wall, Tiananmen Square massacre. But fortunately, day one, our clients were again Henry C. and
The
Jeremy
big
Campos of
boys.
Greenfield, and Saipan, Dubai, and Indonesia, and Japanese clients as well. And our first 6 months, and first projects, several golf course communities. We worked with Jack Nicklaus for Southwoods, Trent Jones for Santa Elena, Tom Weiskopf for the Country Club, Splendid Taal with Greg Norman, and several with Jack Nicklaus, including John A, and a project in Vietnam. And we're very fortunate because the big developers supported us, including Rockwell, Henry Lopez. And Rockwell, in fact, we were just 3 years old as a company when Henry Lopez invited us to plan and design Rockwell. And then after that, 40 countries.
All projects abroad already.
Yeah, because when I started the company, they tell me it's the worst time to start a company in that time, July 1989. I told them, the rest of the world is our client, and the Philippines is less than 1% of the market on architecture and urban development to the rest of the world. Yeah.
That gave you the confidence, sir. That's why we are here today. So tell us more, sir, about what sets Palafox and Associates apart from all the other architectural firms right now in the country.
I think for one, we are under one company, or two, because Palafox Associates, Palafox Architecture Group. In the United Arab Emirates, we have unlimited license. In our country, it's architectural firms would be majority architects, planning firm, majority planners, and so on. Elsewhere in the world, we have unlimited license, and that sets us apart. And also the multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary on planning and designing the built environment. I think that sets us apart. And maybe our core values also.
Yes, talk about the
everything
people
we
profit.
do is pro Deo, patria et terra, for God, country, and planet Earth.
Sir, I attended the anniversary celebration, the 35th anniversary media briefing that you had, and you mentioned there the 15-minute city. And when I posted, some people said, oh, my company is already doing this mixed-use township developments. So tell us more about the 15-minute city that you envision.
15-minute city, even the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028, I was hired by Asian Development Bank to help our government do the development plan till 2028. And I shared there are more than 30 modes of urban transport, starting with walking and biking, then public transit, and more than 20 kinds of infrastructure. 15-minute city, within 15 minutes, walking, biking, and public transit.
Everything can be reached.
Then 10-minute communities, because everything you need is within walking distance from your home. Rockwell, we planned a 5-minute neighborhood. And from your doorstep in Rockwell, everything you need, urban amenities, is 5-minute walk. That was one of the criteria for Rockwell to be mixed-use development.
Everything you need there.
With healthcare and wellness centers,
So
shopping,
we
dining.
need more
so-
of that here in the country,
Yeah.
sir.
But it should not be limited to a high-end development, mixed development like Rockwell.
Mhm.
It should also be done in maybe different income neighborhoods
And all over the country.
all over the country.
Thank you for that, Architect. Now, tell us more about your vision, your advocacy, the Philippines 2050. You can probably expound on that. Is that something you think that the country can really achieve? You've mentioned last time that, of course, a lot of levers there have to be really played for us to reach that first world country by 2050 to be included there.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that,
In
sir.
2011, when I was elected president of the Management Association of the Philippines, the first architect to be elected of that prestigious organization, already in my inaugural speech already mentioned it. And there are so many things going for us. Like, if you rotate the map of the world, the Philippines is in the center.
Mhm.
It's no wonder we're the Asia-Pacific hub of Spanish Europe for more than 370 years. Spanish Europe and Mexico, the Americas.
Mhm.
Then 50 years the Americans, 4 years the Japanese, 2 years the British. So I said that I think every superpower countries will be interested in our beautiful islands
Mhm.
because of their strategic location. We're number one in the world in marine biodiversity. We're not number one in seafarers, sailors. We're number one now in call centers. I like to believe we are number one in nurses. We're
Yes,
number
we
two
have
in
a lot.
geothermal energy, number two in call centers, the third or fifth longest coastline.
Mhm.
And landlocked countries, their development potential is 20% less.
And us, we have
We have
island.
the third or
Mhm.
fifth longest coastline in the world. Some countries, they go to war because they don't have a coastline. Dubai, when we were master planning, doing urban plans for Dubai, I think only had 70 kilometers of high-value waterfront.
Mhm.
So they had to dredge the Peak of Dubai, excavated the desert for waterfront development, now the Palm Islands and the map of the world. We were so blessed. Naturally, we have a long waterfront. And then we're number 4 in the world in shipbuilding, thanks to the Japanese and the Koreans. We're number 4 in gold. We're number 5 in all other mineral resources. And anecdotal research tell us the value of our mineral resources is between $3 trillion to $6 trillion. And we have a demographics of span.
Mhm. Very
The
young.
rest of the world is aging and aged.
Yeah.
Our average age is 26.
Mhm.
And number 12, number 13 are human resources. And the Filipino expatriates are the preferred employees of all, most if not all, employers all over the world. So we should be in the
So this 2050 is
2050.
within reach. Baka,
It's
late
not
pa.
just me. It's HSBC and Goldman
Yes,
Sachs
yes,
forecasting
forecasting
that
that.
2050 we can be number 16 economy in the top 20 economies in the world. 2070, I think they came up with the latest forecast. 2070, we're number 12 in the world.
In the world, wow.
But we have thought this, we only have a few challenges, we have more blessings.
Mhm.
Strengths and opportunities and less challenges. May I invite you all to listen and view the Realty Talks and who have thought leaders there, especially on real estate and urban development, and also for national development, nation building. Thank you very much indeed for this opportunity to share.
Once again, we would like to thank Architect Jun for joining us in this episode. Thank you also to all our viewers. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Realty Talks, and we also hope that you learned many things from Architect Jun Palafox, especially when it comes to the importance of sustainable urban development planning. Stay tuned for our next episode. Again, this is Sheila Lobien. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.